guys, Muncheez here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about gatekeeping. Now, I'm going to leave a timestamp in the description below for some ways to avoid being gatekept, but for the majority of the video, I'm going to share some reasons why I'm not against it, nor am I for it. Now, here are some reasons why people do gatekeep, and one of the major reasons is that you want to play with players with similar progression, right? You want to play with people who are similar in gear, similar into like the amount of raids they're doing, and so on and so forth. And another one is runs will usually be smoother, not all the time, but you're trying to increase the chance that you can just get in the raid, finish it, and be done with it for the week, right? And a big reason why people do it is that you're just trying to get multiple Legion raids done, right? I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen people already have the 10 clear title, right? So once you clear Clown, say like 10 times, then you get a title. And there's people who are trying to just run with other people who have similar experience to where they've cleared Clown such and such many times so they can get in and be done with the Clown raids for the week. Now, the bad portion of gatekeeping is it discourages newer or like more casual players. So it feels terrible when you're trying to apply to a group and you have a character with hundreds and hundreds of hours and, you just dumped all this time into these characters and you're trying to get into a group and no one will take you. And it feels terrible, right? Like it would feel bad. And it makes people feel like you can't do things at item level. When Valton first had come out, and even with Vicus, people would often ask me, they're like, do you think you could do this at eye level? And my answer is usually yes, I can think you can do it at eye level, because so far, everything that everyone has recommended on whether it's YouTube or from the KR servers, Russia server, whatever, they overcompensate for recommendations for doing a raid, and it's not necessary. And the last thing that's probably the worst part about it is it reduces the amount of experience players can get. And what I mean by this is, so say you're playing a 1480 character, right? And then you set the lobby requirement to like 1500, right? I've seen Vicus lobbies with like 1500. So as players are coming into like the raids and stuff and they can't get in, but they have already, say they even have like the Vicus title or whatever, right? They can clearly do it, and you're just setting it so high that people aren't able to experience it with that character that they're on. So in the end, you want more people with more experience, so you have a larger pool of players to choose from, right? So if you gatekeep, you potentially are removing people from this player pool who are experienced and have more experience doing raids and whatnot. Now, gatekeeping is a part of MMOs. It has become the norm, and it has started a while ago with other games like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, whatever, right? And it's going to continue to be a thing, and it's completely unavoidable, right? It's as unavoidable as the botting problem that we have in NA right now. So here are some ways you can avoid being gatekept, and hopefully it'll help some of you guys have a better experience with Lost Ark. So my number one recommendation is make friends with the people that you've cleared with. So as you're doing clowns, so for example me, I pug clown a lot. So, just ask people like, hey, do you mind if I add you? And then the next week when it rolls around, while you're making a group, or if they're making a group, you can hit each other up, be like, hey, you want to run some clown this week? And generally speaking, people are down to do this because they know that you have cleared. My next recommendation is to find, an interactive guild with active players in it. And what I mean is you want to find a guild who is pretty social. They're usually on Discord and whatnot. And you want them to be playing Lost Ark. You don't want to join a guild that's playing like freaking Valorant or League of Legends, right? And they're just in Discord socializing and they're not actually even playing Lost Ark. But you want to find a guild where there's people who are willing to play with other guildies, and usually, if you're shy, this is the place where you'd be open and be like, hey, I'm not too experienced with such and such. There's usually tons of people who are willing to help people learn and sit down and learn a Legion raid with you. So for example, you can make a group of 3 players in a guild, and I did this previous week. You can bring one person who's not too comfortable with clown, or, they're not the best at doing clown because they only cleared once during the release week, and you can sit down and kind of just teach one person. It's easier than teaching a whole raid, right? And another benefit to being in a guild with people who have a lot of characters is people will tend to swap their characters around. So, for instance, you can bring maybe an eye level character and then they'll bring their main character and then you can swap. So, as you're doing your Legion raids, you kind of just swap around and you switch between your mains and your alts. So, you can get a full clear every week on all of your characters. And the most important part about the guild thing is you have to interact with them. You can't just expect people to reach out and ask you, be like, hey, you know, do you want to run it? You have to interact with the guild. And when it comes down to it, if you are the one interacting and nobody responds and you're having a hard time, I mean, I know the cooldown for joining a new guild sucks, but, you know, just find a new guild. Now, if you're like me and you pug clown a lot, then you have to invest heavily into your characters that you're doing the Legion raids with. And what I mean by this is the characters that you are bringing to the Legion raids in pugs, you're competing with literally everyone else that's playing in your region. And you have to remember all people have to judge your character by is your character sheet. So the first thing they're going to look at is your engravings. They're going to check your gems and they're going to look at your roster level, your stats. You know, even some people will even check tripods and they'll, they'll suss you out and, make the best decision for their group. And you also don't want to be eye level on these alts that you're trying to bring into these pug groups, even though you have 5x3, all level 4 tripods. But if you're at item level, your chances of getting into the group are much, much lower. Even my alts, I experienced being gatekept myself, even though there was nothing wrong. I had full level 7 gems, 5x3, like the whole thing, right? But just because you're item level, people won't bring you. So I would recommend honing at least a little bit higher, maybe 5 item levels higher, which isn't too bad. So instead of being 1475, be 1480. Same thing goes for like Vicus and Valton. Just be a little higher than what the entry level requirement is. And the last one is to start your own lobby and learn how to lead groups, as in calling out strats for your raid group and learning how to do side reels and whatnot. Now, this last one might be obvious to some of you guys, but just play a support. You'll never get gatekept as a support. So I know that this video is a little longer than my normal videos, but I just wanted to share some perspective about gatekeeping, and hopefully this helps some of you guys. And my main goal with my channel is to help people and, kind of make their experience better with Lost Ark, because I absolutely love this game and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. But if you made it this far and you guys have any questions or anything that I missed, as far as avoiding being gatekept or what you guys even think about gatekeeping, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.